Let's talk to Luke O'Reilly, senior political reporter at Labour List. Luke, very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well. Thanks for joining us. 12 months in government. It all started out quite well. I wrote a piece in The Sun yesterday. It all started as a great sort of celebration of newness, and, you know, a new chapter was going to be reached, and we were going to get no more cronyism, no more of your old, you know, Tory corruption, Tory uselessness, and it hasn't quite worked out too well, has it?
Well, I think one of the issues is that when it began, there was a lot of optimism and people felt there was going to be real change in the country. And unfortunately, Labour made the decision to kind of talk about the fiscal black hole, to say that the country had been left in a very bad position by the Tories, and so difficult decisions that need to be made. And I think that then created an atmosphere where people thought, oh, this isn't, you know, the high spend, sort of good time Labour Party that I thought I was voting for. This just sounds like austerity 2.0.
Right. And that was the beginning, though, wasn't it? But I mean, they seem to have sort of gone off not only on the wrong foot, but they seem to have then continued to keep making sort of mistakes throughout the whole course of every month. I mean, I haven't actually tracked it month by month, which I suppose you could do. But, you know, it started off with all the revelations about Lord Ali, and the kind of the problems that the freebie gate thing cost. And when Keir Starmer started, you know, he was talking about this will be a government of service, you know, this will be country first, party second. And within sort of days of them getting in, suddenly, you know, he was getting free suits from Lord Ali, he was getting free glasses, his wife was getting clothes, he was using a penthouse in Covent Garden. You know, I could go on about that, but then there was the free sort of Taylor Swift tickets and the free football tickets. There's David Lammy's flights on private jets after they promised not to have any more private jets. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Every time I do a list, people say, oh, you've forgotten about this bit, you've forgotten about that bit. You know what I mean?
Well, I think this is the issue. When you're in opposition, it's very easy to criticise the government on these things, say that they shouldn't be spending money on, you know, things that might seem as frivolities. But in reality, when you're in power, you know, it is important that you do have a nice suit. It is important that the foreign secretary does travel on like a good flight and a good plane. You know, I just think this is one of those things where you do hang yourself in opposition by criticising the government for it, because inevitably when you get into
well, that's the problem. I mean, I think it's the hypocrisy that people dislike. I mean, I don't think anybody cares about spending money on suits, and people, I'm sure, understand that you have to get from A to B, you might have to take a private jet. But as you say, it's only because of the fact that they completely and utterly, you know, ripped it out of the Tories for doing so. I mean, there's a very famous clip, we've been doing them all year, really, a famous clip of Rachel Reeves at party conference before they got in, saying, you know, why does Rishi Sunak fly around in private jets all the time? What's he frightened of? Meeting a voter? Well, I think you'd have to say Rachel Reeves is probably frightened of meeting a voter these days, isn't she?
Well, I think it's been a very difficult year for Rachel Reeves. I do think that when she broke into tears in PMQs, or certainly it looked like she was crying in PMQs.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah, but I think people should bear in mind, be kind. You know, there's a lot of talk about being more kind to people. And for someone like Rachel Reeves, obviously, okay, she's in a position of power. She has big responsibilities. And a lot of people look at her and go, you've made cuts that have left me in tears. So now you know how I feel.
And they don't really feel like being kind to her, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, but I do think you do have to extend some degree of kindness to people in power, because they are ultimately making huge decisions and there's a big weight on them.
Yeah. I think did you exhibit any kindness to Liz Truss when she was going on her way out?
Yeah, I think you have to have some sympathy.
Did you? No, did you?
Personally, yeah, of course.
Did you? You didn't join in the left, you know, complete haranguing of her and making fun of her and making out that she was a lettuce?
No,
you must have done. Come on.
I think if you searched my Twitter, you'd find I didn't.
Well, I know that Twitter isn't real life, though, either. I'm sure that you would have made fun of her. I mean, that's what happens in politics. You make fun of people. I don't think anybody's going to buy we should be kind to Rachel Reeves. Also, apparently, she's fine now. You know, she turned out yesterday and she was happy as Larry. So apparently nothing's wrong.
Yeah, I guess you have to put on a brave face, don't you? I mean, we also don't really...
Is that what she was doing? You think she was putting on a brave face?
Well, I think when she was in tears, as it looks, we don't know what caused that. I think it could be something more personal. It could be frustrated with the job. I think people should just be a bit kinder. We don't know what people are going through.
Yeah, well, she seemed fine yesterday, though. That's what I'm saying.
I think she can put on a brave face then afterwards.
Do you think she's not fine then?
I think you'd have to ask her. I don't want to speculate about someone's mental health.
Well, people did ask her. She said that she just had a bad day at the office.
Yeah, but I think sometimes...
So why do we have to be kind to people who just had a bad day at the office? I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, but at the same time, you need to be kinder to people because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's going on.
What about pensioners? Do you think we should be kind to them, or should we take their winter fuel allowance off them?
Yeah, well, I think this is the problem for Rachel Reeves, is that because she obviously you position yourself as making the hard decisions, and to some degree, then you need to kind of seem like a hard person. And in reality, she is just a human being like everyone else.
Yeah,
And I
but
think
she's also being hard on people who own farms as well. She's taking away their livelihood.
yeah,
That's not
but
very kind, is it?
I think that's the issue when you Labour came into government and immediately positioned itself as we're going to make these hard decisions, and then they think that gives them a veneer of this is tough talking, this is Labour that isn't, weak, and instead actually people think you're cruel, and people look at you and go, well, I don't have sympathy for you,
Yeah.
and you deserve to,
And
be.
I think that they're perfectly entitled to do that. Let me show you a little clip here. We've done a show which is going out tonight at 9 o'clock called 1 Year of Chaos. Have a look.
Smashing the gangs means absolutely diddly.
You will have helped to smash the gangs, take those gangs down. Smashing the gangs. No shortcut. Smash the criminal gangs. No gimmicks. Have to smash those gangs. Just the hard graft of sleeves rolled up. Smash the gangs. Practical government. I think smashing the gangs is a deterrent. We will smash the gangs that undermine our security. Smash the gangs. Smash the people smuggling gangs.
Oh dear.
He couldn't even smash an avocado for a piece of toast, could he, that fool?
When he says, I think smashing the gangs is a deterrent, well, it might be if you smashed any, if you found any.
Well, one of those was actually when I interviewed Keir Starmer before he became Prime Minister, and he said that smashing the gangs was a deterrent. It wasn't a deterrent then. It's not a deterrent now. There is no deterrent. Rwanda, imperfect, was a deterrent.
And he hasn't smashed anything. I mean, he's literally all he does is he smashes records every sort of couple of weeks, where more and more people come in a period of 24 hours. And that's another problem, isn't it? There's a lot of sloganeering that has come out of this government in the past year, and smashing the gang's probably the worst of all. A bit like "Stop the Boats" from Rishi Sunak. You make these slogans, and they all sound good when you're sitting in a sort of a cosy office when you're thinking this is what the focus group would like to hear, but they haven't smashed anything.
No, I think it is an incredibly difficult problem to solve, the issue of migration and small boats coming to this country. I mean, it is essentially, if you look at what happened to the Conservative Party, you could point to it as being one of the big issues that cost them votes at the last election, that they constantly said that they needed to do this. I think, again, the issue for Labour is that if you make something a policy, if you tell people you're going to do it, then you're going to have to deal with the repercussions if the targets aren't reached.
Right.
There's a different world where Labour could have taken a more pro-migrant line, really boosted the idea that these people are coming here and they're benefiting the country and we need to help them. And it would be a lot easier for them because then they wouldn't have to deal
except that's patently not true, though, Luke. People can see that it's not helping anybody. People are coming to this country, and as we now know, there's Home Office figures which prove an awful lot of the people that are coming into this country illegally are then committing crimes while they're here. And so the problem is that is not a sustainable argument. And even Labour have seen that they can't make that argument, so instead they've gone the other way. But they should never have said we're going to smash the gangs, because they haven't done it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would have been much more. It would have been easier for Labour if they'd made a compassionate case for migration. If they had said,
but you can't make that case. You can't, because this country will not any longer wear it. I mean, immigration, which for years and years and years we were told is not a big deal to anyone, is now the #1 issue in everybody's mind in this country. And it was even when people denied that it was true, because immigration is causing all the problems.
Well, I think most people in this country don't mind if they think someone's coming here and they're going to contribute and they're going to work and they're going to integrate.
Yeah, but that's not what's happening.
Yeah, but I think the solution then is to try and improve those conditions, to try and make it easier for people to integrate, to make it easier for them to get work here, to make it easier.
Well, surely, no, it's not. I mean, that's not the issue. The issue is to make it easier for people who are already here to actually have a decent life. And, to not have to turn around every 5 minutes and find out there's another 5,000 people have come over illegally who are going to end up driving around on mopeds, working illegally, not paying tax, and all of those things that we now know they're doing.
Yeah, well, I suppose you could actually make it easier for them to work, and then they wouldn't need to work illegally. Like there are other ways of doing it. You don't have to do it this way.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think you're living in a completely different place than I am, Luke. I have to say, Luke O'Reilly, senior political reporter at Labour List.